and only 7 3/4 of a mile. And I this was worse than a full marathon, and worse than a half marathon, worse than a 10K. This was a 12K. This was so much pain. It was like reliving my Achilles tear, the snap, the gunshot sensation behind my leg. And we'll talk more, and I'm going to continue to run, and I love doing this, and we'll talk more about it right now. So I'm going to retire this, as you can see, to my armrest of medals. There. Okay. So let's talk about this. Why do I continue? Let me bring this over here, guys. Bring you a little closer. So why is running so important, and why may you be missing out on something really special if you're not running or incorporating running into your workouts? There's science has backed this up. You basically increase your serotonin levels. It shoots up norepinephrine and other hormones that push out your pituitary gland in your brain, and just makes you feel happy, more emotionally, mentally balanced, and more clarity. And it's just the nature of the fitness, what it does for you. Now you say, I get this in my own workouts and stuff like that, and I actually and I'm doing really well, Rocky, and I don't need that kind of stuff, or I don't want to do running, I'm really lazy, or I do plenty of working out, I do these other things, and that's great. Well, I want to share with you, there's so much more to running. So even if you're physically active in other things, what running can do that other physical activities cannot do is increase your cardiovascular. It pumps your blood, it clears out your arteries, it helps the body move fluids in and out appropriately, as well as increasing your norepinephrine and serotonin and other dopamine receptors in your brain. So this is really healthy, because these are the type of things that we are actually missing when we get depressed. When we are feeling depressed or feeling sad or having emotional breakdowns, like psychological breakdowns from losing our family, going through stress in life, we tend to need something that's going to help us. Most of the time, I'm hoping that most of us make good decisions, but many times it's easier to reach out to a doctor and get a medication. I'm totally, again, I've mentioned this hundreds of times, so you already know what I'm going to say. I'm not knocking medication. I have been pumped with every single freaking medication that you can imagine. That was years ago. Now I'm going on maybe like 8 years now. It's been probably 7 to 8 years now. It's been like a long time ago. I haven't been on any medication. I could probably benefit here and there at certain points in my life. I could probably benefit from something, but I start to take inventory of my thoughts, of how I'm feeling. I'm very in tune, I'm very self-aware, and I say, wait, these things there's some imbalance here going on. My day hasn't been going well, or my week hasn't been going well, or I've been thinking of these things about this situation, maybe at work, at home, or in regular life. And I really stay in tune with myself and try to do the work. And what can I do to redirect those type of thought patterns into healthier thought patterns, or redirect my emotional reactions into healthier emotional reactions. And if many of us are not doing these type of things, or don't take full responsibility for our self-awareness, then we can easily be sucked into things that are going to help us feel good, and in hopes that you guys do it with some type of physical activity. But it's so much more easier to grab a drink, a smoke, or a drug, or some unhealthy activity. And I really want you guys to really stay. If you guys have a small balance of something unhealthy or something very healthy, I want you to make a conscious effort now that watching this video, that you're going to push aside and close the chapter on that unhealthy habit or that unhealthy way of thinking, or whatever it is that you lean towards that is unhealthy, whether it's drugs, alcohol, medication, or something else. Now, I want you, and I challenge you, and I want you to really make a conscious effort and tell yourself, look at yourself in the mirror and say to yourself, I'm going to make a conscious effort in putting more energy and emphasis into these healthier things. Physical fitness, healthier food, and practicing healthy thought patterns throughout your day and throughout your week. When you're going out in public, sometimes we get this old man syndrome. There's this old man syndrome, that grumpy old man, right? People's like say, he's just a grumpy old man. But many of us have been through the ringer, you know what I'm saying? So some of our grumpiness is it's understandable. But what I'm saying is I want you to go about your day and really, okay, that pissed me off. You know what? This is upsetting, but I can channel it and be I can channel it into more productive or healthier thought patterns. Okay? This is frustrating. I'm not going to let it boil my tension right now. I'm not going to have any outbursts. That's upsetting, and that is upsetting the way it is right there, but it will not affect me. It's separate from me. I will not pick it up and take that stress upon myself and let it affect my thoughts and my emotions in my day or my week. I'm going to keep that separate. That's upsetting. That's the way it is, and I'm going to leave that alone. So I really want you to look at physical fitness as a means to healthier thoughts, creating a healthy pattern, and healthier mindset for yourself. I want to go into why running has been such a positive and what the negatives that running could do as well too. So the positive is that it increases all these happy hormones in running in our body, right? These happy chemicals running through our brain, and you reach this high, and you're at this level, and you're running, and it feels good. And so what you're doing is you're naturally creating a healthy pattern of feeling that good. Okay? Now, what happens on the negative side is if you have an injury like myself and you are completely sidelined, that happy feeling, you're not reaching those levels anymore. You're actually on the sideline, you're going about your day, you're at a certain level here, and if you might plummet hard, you might come back to base, to normalcy. You might plummet again hard, you might come back to normalcy, but you're not getting back to that healthier chemical reaction in your brain and the healthier thought patterns. When you constantly are exercising, working out, going to the gym, lifting weights, running, doing biking, swimming, whatever type of exercising that you're doing, when you're constantly doing that type of exercising, you are constantly keeping your brain patterns in healthier chemical balance, okay, naturally, without medication. And so when you consistently do this over time, your body will adapt to that sensation, right? And so when you have for example, those that have not done the work in their childhood trauma, have not gone to therapy or taken their medication, and they consistently have these down dark spaces in their life, and then they come back to base, and they consistently go back to this dark space in their life, and you're not doing the work and working on yourself. What happens when you do that run and you're feeling amazing and great and wonderful, and you stop that run, you go poof, because you've only taught your brain to continuously go back to that dark space of depression. So you feel amazing, great, life is wonderful, I'm running, I'm a runner, or I'm a bodybuilder, whatever I'm doing, and then boom, you plummet. And that hence is why we have those bodybuilders that have gone through hormones or steroids and what have you, and peptides, and they've gone through that, and they don't know how to handle the plummet, because eventually you have to cycle that stuff. You have to cycle it, or else you're just going to go. And then if you don't cycle it, what happens? And you haven't done all the work down here to stay away from the darkness, to be balanced at all time in your life. You plummet down into the darkness, and you don't know how to handle it. So what happens? You end up becoming one of those bodybuilders that deflates himself, that maybe kills his family, that wants to creates violence, that beats up people, that is just angry all the time and ends up going to jail because they acted out. So that's the pattern that we see. I'm going to use one of my exes. I'm not going to say who. I'm just going to say one of my exes. She had massive childhood trauma, and she never did any of the work on it. And I was always talking to her about it, and it was almost like I had to be a counselor. And she would cry out to me and say, "Counsel me, please counsel me. You're so good at this and understanding this." And it was almost like I was trying to dig her out of the darkness. I was hand-holding her emotionally and mentally, hand-holding her out of the darkness. And so what would happen is that she was going to this, she was a great runner. She loved running. She loved athleticism and keeping fit and exercising. And she would feel great about it. She would feel amazing about it. And then as soon as when it got off it, she would plummet down into the darkness. And it was constant plummeting down into the darkness. And not only that, but even if she wanted to, and she tried to stay stable and baseline, she couldn't, because she was in a career position where her entire career was dealing with people that were in dark time in their life, or in the bottom part of their life, or dealing with massive depression. So she was constantly being sucked into that. So if you or yourself or your partner has a career that you're constantly being sucked into the darkness, sucked into other people's problems, constantly, you have to go there in order to work there. You have to go there sometimes into the darkness. Even if you're happy, you go there because it's your patient, or it's your client, or it's your job, and you go into the darkness because that's your career. And you're training your thought patterns and your senses. Even if you have healthy thought patterns, you're training these micro, what did the doctor call it? There's these micro senses in your body, these sensations, and it's released in its natural reactions. So for example, if you have this natural reaction to go and pick up a drink, and you go pick up a drink, and this is something we don't think about. We go pick up a drink and we want to drink it, and because we're thirsty, and we go and we drink it, and we feel refreshed and we're hydrated. Now if you've gone to these dark spaces, I'm feeling absolute thirst, like craving, like I need water right now. So then what happens? What is your natural reaction time, your actual reaction, your patterns? You go and grab that bottle and slam it down. And it's the same thing when you create these natural patterns. When you go grab a beer, whoa, I just need to have this beer. Oh my God, I was craving that beer after work, or I'm just craving this. I just gotta have. I'm just thirsty. So you've trained your reactions, and in your body, in your hands, in your mind, and the way you would react to that drink, the way you would react to the sensations of feeling thirst, and even the beginning phases of cultivating thirst. You trained it to be in dark spaces at all times. So when your reaction and you act out, your emotional feeling, the mental thought, and the physical reaction will only be in a dark space energy at all times. So this is why it's so important to use medication if you need to. If your doctor is giving you medication, use it to your advantage, in hopes that you won't always need it. I needed it for a temporary amount of time, and then I got off it, and then I also told other doctors that were giving me other stuff, and I was like, nope, don't give me nothing anymore. I'm going to do this on my own. But if you need it, and I needed it too at that time, years ago, over 7 years ago, then use it to your advantage for the moment. You're probably in a really, really dark space, and there's nothing that can really, really help and you need the assistance of something. And I want you to know that that is not the final destination for you, that you can do this in a healthier way. And it's through food, it's through exercise, fitness, running, and it's through you constantly doing the work and training yourself, your reaction, the sensations that you have, the emotion, the mental reaction time, and the emotional feelings that you have towards things. And you have to train yourself that way. An abused child that is constantly abused will always have that training of when that hand goes up, that flinch, right? Right? They're abused. They're, oh my God, my hit is coming. Oh my God, my hit is coming. But a non-abused child will just be like, what's that hand going up for? You know what I'm saying? So like they're still in their present, they're in tune with themselves. With that abused child gets in tuned with the external, they completely lose their internal selves, and they only attach to the external fear. They're always living outside of themselves. They don't go inside. So I want to share this with you, and this is just a roundabout way of really understanding physical fitness and exercise, and why even though I abuse my body, and it hurts, and I'm getting a lot older now. My body was designed to do jiu-jitsu and wrestling. I've done that most of my life. And then I started to pick up this other sport at a later age in my life. So I'm not fully in tuned with it or anything like that. But I do want to share with you that, especially as you're getting older, no matter if you're young watching this video, middle age, or you're getting older, that it's only going to benefit you. It's going to elongate your lifespan. It's going to allow you to live a fuller, longer, healthier mobility life. If you continue to exercise, run, pump that beautiful blood to that beautiful heart, right? Increase those dopamine receptors in your brain, and train it to be at that level all the time, so you're always happy and react to loving and beautiful things, and say and respond in a kind way to people, even though they hate on you sometimes. I want this for you. I really, really want this for you. I genuinely want this for you. And I really, really hope that somebody got something out of this video. It means so much to me that, that you're not fully, I think the world is, we get so caught up into trying to sell people workouts and gym equipment and foam rollers and little gadgets and stuff like that. And that's great. That's great. But don't, and let me share something just as a side. I just thought about a friend of mine who's a personal trainer. If you have no clue what the heck you're doing, pay for personal training. Pay for it if you can afford it. I personally can't afford some of the personal training, but if you can, and I know some of you guys can, pay for the personal training. Even if it's for a temporary amount of time, even for like a month or 2 months, you are giving yourself education and understanding in physical fitness beyond your capability that you ever would be. All right, guys, I hope this video helped somebody. I have more to talk about in my running. I'm going to share some of my running gear and some of my running stuff that I have that helped me out along my way in my journey for running, and why I think this is only going to benefit you guys, especially if you're a runner already. Great, keep doing it. That's wonderful. Share your story. But if you're not, you should really try to pick it up. At least start with a mile. At least start with 1 mile. Do yourself that favor. I love you guys. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below.